Hey, it's Carla Rieger on Storytelling in Business, communicating your message in relevant, clear, and memorable ways. So what do these books have in common? The 1-Minute Millionaire, Who Moved My Cheese, The Present, Fish, The 5 Dysfunctions of a Team, and Death by Meeting. Well, you were right if you said they were all business books that actually told a story all the way through. And they were all bestsellers. And the fact that they had stories involved with them really helped them be bestsellers. What impacted these changes? Sales of Merlot wine went down after this movie came out. Do you remember? Sideways, when the main character, played by Paul Giamatti, panned Merlot wine. Art tours of England and France went up by 400% since this novel was published. Yes, you're right if you said Da Vinci Code. And McDonald's stock went down by 2.1% in part because of this docudrama. Do you remember? Super Size Me. Yes, indeed. Now, the VARC learning system says that we retain 10% of what we read, 20% of what we hear, 30% of what we see, 40% of what we say, 50% of what we do, and 60% of what we read, hear, see, say, and do. Now, here's the great thing about stories, is people put themselves in the story as the main character of the story often, so that they are hearing, seeing, saying, and doing often what's going on in the story. That's why stories are so much more memorable.
I think a great way to think about how you are changed, as I said, is how you ride the roller coaster. Now, there is a wide spectrum of behavior around roller coaster riding. You've probably noticed, if you've ever taken kids on the roller coaster or gone yourself, that on one end of the spectrum you could always find someone like me. And maybe some of you are like this. I just wouldn't go on. Just basically avoided that ride. And when I did go on, I was dragged on. I insisted to my friend that I take the middle car. Now, this was that Peony roller coaster, the old wooden one. Anyone been on that, right? Yeah, the wooden, old 1938 kind of rickety thing. So when I said, okay, we're taking the middle car because I figured this is the safe one, right? And then when I got on the ride and the handlebar came down, I felt important to white knuckle that and just kind of gnarl myself up to a ball of tension the whole way, just kind of eyes shut, just totally hating it, basically, and praying to the moment it would end, and as soon as it would end, I would jump off and run to the bathroom and throw up. So that is one way to ride a roller coaster, and that's on one end of the spectrum. Now there's, on the other end of the spectrum, and maybe some of you are these kind of people, these people I kind of envied, and I thought, what would it take to be one of these people? Now these kind of people, they don't take the middle car. If you like roller coasters, which car do you usually take? Yeah, the front one. Yeah, you want to be the first one down the hill, right? And then, and then as soon as the ride's going down the hill, what do these people usually do? Yeah, they let go of the handlebar. They're not holding on. They got their hands in the air, they're laughing, they're screaming, they're cheering, and as soon as the ride's over, what do those people usually like to do? They go again. They go many times over. And I thought, gosh, what would it take to be one of those people? Well, I found out it's actually just one small change in your behavior. Does anyone care to venture a guess? You got it. Bing, bing, bing. This action totally changes the experience of the ride. I never knew that. I had some friends talk me into going on this ride on the roller coaster, and I noticed that when I actually went on hands-free, I totally loved it. I was laughing the whole way, and as soon as the ride was over, I did not need to throw up. I did not feel motion sick at all, and I thought, that is so weird. I went again, and every time after that, I never feel motion sick when I go like that. I totally love it, and so now I'm a roller coaster addict. I love them, totally. And I go on the roller coasters all the time. I call it roller coaster therapy if you do tend to not like roller coasters. And I think it's a great metaphor for going through change, because sometimes life is great, right? And things are flowing, and there's money in the bank, and things are going well with people, and you're solving problems, and you're feeling great, and the weather's nice, but then it never stays that way, right? it starts to go downhill. The weather gets bad. You don't feel well. There's financial problems. You're not getting along with somebody. But it doesn't stay there. It goes back up again. Then it goes down. It goes up. It goes down. If you look back over your life, I bet everyone in this room would tell me to one degree or another, it's been a roller coaster, right? To some degree or another. Maybe sometimes more like this, sometimes more the adult roller coaster, and sometimes you're just on the 360-degree screaming machine, right? So if that's true, if for your life up to this point it's been a roller coaster, chances are it's going to continue to be a roller coaster, right? So you can be on the ride like this or like this. Woohoo! Totally different experience, same ride, right? It sort of illustrates that philosophy that I'm sure many of you buy into, that stress is not an event, right? It's your reaction to, your relationship to the event. Why could two people be on a roller coaster and totally experience it differently, right? So, and it's easy enough to see with other people, but when it seems like life's just throwing you a whole bunch of things, how can you, like, wow, 5 people are sick today, and I'm covering for everybody. Yes! All right, it's Monday, and it's pouring with rain. There's no coffee. Yes, and you can just, there's no money in the bank, woohoo! And, it's like a totally different thing, right? It's a different experience. It's sort of like an adventurous part of you that goes, what kind of adventure is this going to be, and how can I find an innovative way of dealing with it? Now, easier said than done with some things, I realize. But it's, if you can do it with the small things, it's sort of helpful to deal with it when the big things hit. How can I find a way to create an opportunity out of this?